Okay, hello everybody. It looks like we're live on YouTube. So thank you everybody for joining us. Today my special guest is Jane. I'm going to read real quick a little breakdown about Jane in case, Jane's been on a few times already. We've done, I believe, like 3 lives already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Three lives, and I had first interviewed her, and we had some correspondence. So, always a pleasure to be here with Jane. So let me tell you, for anybody that doesn't know, Jane Fecteau is a medical intuitive and energy healer that specializes in helping people with chronic pain and chronic illness. Jane's intuitive abilities enable her to connect with your body's energy field and discern imbalances that affect your overall health and well-being. She is guided to make adjustments that will lead your body back to wellness. The result is abiding health and resilience where there was once illness and pain. Sometimes pain and illness are slow to resolve with conventional medical treatment. Healing offers an alternative path to wellness. Medical intuitive and energy healer Jane Fecteau can help you regain your health, balance, and vitality through her divine gift of gentle healing energy. Wherever you are in your healing journey, Jane is here to care for you. Jane has 20 plus years of experience in client care and has trained many practitioners over the years. So thank you so much for being here, Jane, once again. And yeah. Um, so today we're actually going to focus on being an empath, right? And the symptoms of being an empath. And I love the topic because, people used to tell me that a lot, right? When I would feel everything and people would be like, "Oh, you're an empath, you're an empath." And a lot of people don't know what an empath is. And that's important because even feeling pain sometimes that isn't even yours, and you panic and you're like, what's wrong with me? And lo and behold, you could be feeling someone else's pain. So I'll let you speak real quick because I'm going to go ahead and put the number and everything for people to call in a while. We're going to talk first and then give people the opportunity to talk. So I'll let you speak for a little bit while I do all this other stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me as a guest again. Every show is phenomenal with you. Great interviews. You ask great questions. Your audience is great. And
Thank
they really participate in the chat or in comments later, which I do watch for. Um, just a little bit more about me. I'm a medical intuitive energy healer. I help people with chronic pain and chronic illness through a series of energy healing sessions. So you can learn more about me at janefecteau.com. Today, though, this may be a month or so ago, I was thinking I'd like to go back on Omar's podcast and do another live with him. And what would his audience might be interested in, might resonate with his audience. And I was doing a little bit of research and I came across a topic, are you an empath? And so there's a lot of information out there about empathic people and who are they and what makes you an empath. And so what I decided to do is just in a document, kind of outline some thoughts that I picked up over the internet and my own thoughts. And I didn't really see anybody cross-reference the bullet points of being an empath to how does it affect your daily life, or how do you handle this situation, or how, what happens to you where you're in a situation or you're feeling things very strongly, like how do you manage that? So I decided to put together a slide which goes through in bullet points different qualities of an empath. And then at the bottom, I just said, are there any other thoughts from you that you would like to add? So I sent Omar the slide, and he's going to bring it up. And for those of you who are traveling and listening to this podcast live or at another time, we're going to read through it. And the people who are actually live and watching can see the slide that I put together, and we can go through it together. People can call in or just watch later and listen later.
You want me to share it now?
Sure, let's share it now.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just put this. Zoom link in the chat so when people are ready to call in.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, that actually put a direct link, so that actually works. Okay, so let me screen share real quick about the empath slide. Oh, okay, close it down. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I have so many windows open now. I'm like, okay, where did it go? Ah, here it is. Okay, so this is a little reference thing. Okay, there it is.
There it is. Okay. And is there a place to move us where people can see us, or it doesn't really matter?
Um,
It doesn't matter.
yeah. Can you see it there?
Yeah, I can see it, but I can't see us. I can see
Oh, I
half.
could I could see us.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah,
Then
yeah. So
my
maybe it's
screen
just the
only shows.
host. Maybe it's just the host can see.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah. And you know what? I had
Um,
forgot to hit record on this thing, but it's fine because I know YouTube is recording the thing anyways. But I always like to have a backup just in case. So I don't
okay.
see it. Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead. Let's start with
Okay.
this.
Okay. All right. So here we are with this slide that I put together. Are you an empath? And so on,
Sorry. Go ahead.
that's okay. I'll start that again. Here we are with the slide that talks about, are you an empath? And to the left, like I mentioned a few weeks ago, are bullet points that may be some indicators or some way you respond to people's energy or situations that might indicate that you're an empath or a highly sensitive person. And then on the right-hand side, the bullet points are about how does this show up in your everyday life in terms of each particular area, but we can move them around if we like to. So the first bullet point in this slide states, in terms of, let's determine if you are an empath. Are you shy, overly sensitive, or introverted? Okay, so that's kind of one of the top um, indicators, right? People who are, um, and they're introverted, right? And I'm an introvert. I don't gain energy from being around large groups of people or even small groups of people. And it doesn't mean that people who are extroverts aren't empathic. They just gain their energy a different way. They recharge being around people, and introverts recharge by resting after being in groups of people. So I put that as a first bullet point, and then I wanted to say, well, how does this show up in your everyday life? So for me, I decline more social events than I say yes to.
Hmm.
And it's because I oftentimes feel more drained after being at a social event than I would if I had just spent quiet time at home, or maybe just with one other friend or two other friends. So if I was going to ask you, Omar, what would you say in terms of, are you shy, overly sensitive, introverted, and how does that show up in your everyday life?
Wow. I think before, not anymore, because I don't have that luxury. But do I like to be alone? Yeah, absolutely. So introverted. I'm really not I'm both. But like I said, I had to make myself. Like when I was young, I would say I was like, I guess the word wasn't, I didn't understand its negative connotations, but I would say antisocial, right? So I
Mhm.
think that's the same thing basically, right? As being introverted. But it wasn't like I was antisocial. I just, yeah, I could feel everybody's energy. So I didn't really understand yet that that's why I didn't always feel comfortable being around a lot of people. So
Yeah, and you had to overcome that now,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Years ago.
yeah,
So
and I had to overcome it too when I was in my other career, right? It was non-negotiable. And some of my friends, when I go to a wedding or something like that, they'll say to me, "Wow, you did so great." I'm like, if I can get there, I do great. It's just the anticipation of going, right? And then
Absolutely.
having to recharge when I get back. So I have the luxury now where I didn't in my other career. I had to be travel, I had to be around large groups of people. I had to, handle situations that wouldn't allow me to be an introvert.
Absolutely. And you know what? Since you mentioned that, let's touch on that briefly. Like for example, I used to go into a room and feel very uneasy, and that's why I would drink. And once I would drink, it would go after a few drinks, it would go away. So I think it's important to bring that up because maybe, obviously that's not the best answer, right? And when you're not aware of, man, but I had to drink. I couldn't be around people if I didn't drink. So that led me, that's why we said I was a social drinker. But when I drank a lot because I just couldn't, I didn't know yet. Who was going to teach me that, right? Like in those days before the internet, who was going to teach me you can't really be around so many people, certain environments, and that's how I would numb that out. So I don't know if you had a similar experience or what would you advise for people or now that they're aware, like what would you say to them?
Yeah, yeah. Some people do different things to help themselves balance. Yeah. So when I was in my other career, I mean, I was just thrown into these big meetings and big situations and presentations. And so I would be really nervy at the end of the day. And I would say, yeah, I probably had a glass of wine here and there after a really hard day just to decompress. And when I go to social places, it's nice to have like a drink in your hand. It's just something to kind of hang on to and enjoy with everyone else. So, and it does help take the anxiety down quite a bit, right?
Absolutely. I have someone trying to get in, but you want to wait till after we go through the whole thing? I could.
No, we can take calls as we go. That would be fine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let me see who this, I'm not sure who this is, but let's see let me stop sharing real quick this slide and let me see. Hello. Can you unmute yourself? I don't know who Renz is. I like the picture though of the rainbow.
Hmm.
Can you unmute yourself? Renz. I don't know.
Yeah, he is muted or she. Oh, there we go.
Hey, how's it going? Could you unmute yourself? The mic, I can't hear you. Is there a way that I can't unmute them, right? They gotta unmute themselves, right?
He has to unmute himself. Can you type something in the chat that he can see? Oh, there is one chat
Oh,
there. Do you see it? Oh, maybe somebody's asking a question. I'll let you manage that.
no. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Well, did you want to ask a question? You could ask it in the chat if you want, or you can't type or let me
He
see.
has his mic turned off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he said he's in a noisy place. That's why. So
Yeah,
let me see. Okay. Let me
maybe he can chat. Maybe he can type something.
okay. We wanted to know where to start with new beginnings.
Where to start with new beginnings? I wish I could talk to him. It'd be easier.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
guess just because he said he's in a noisy place, so but I guess his question is where to start with new beginnings.
Is I would have to know, are you transitioning from one region to another, a job to another, a relationship to another.
Very, very noisy in here. Sorry.
There you are. Oh, now it's off again. You know
Oh,
what? I bet because it's noisy, it's shutting the mic off.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess did you have a new beginning in general? Like, is it a job? Is it or just your
Yeah.
whole life? Like, what exactly is going on? I don't know if you want to type that real quick. The specific thing that you're having the new beginning with. Let me see. Well, because we have another caller too, so if you want, just type it and then we'll answer. Well, let's just talk briefly about the new beginning, and then if you're able to talk after
Yeah.
in a quieter place, go ahead and call back, and
Yeah,
we'll put
we'll
you in.
continue. Yeah. So new beginnings, I would have to have some more specifics, because there's 100 ways I could answer that question. So we can take the next call and then Renz can maybe chat with us later. And there's
Let me
another one
see.
with the mic muted.
Roxana, are you there? I don't know if you had a question or. Let me see.
Hey, Omar. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to rush out of the house, so it's kind of hard for me. I'm juggling
Uh-huh.
a lot right now. 'Cause I gotta go pick up my little niece from school, and I already told you what had happened. But I mean, for me, it's kind of like you said, and I missed the whole YouTube. I wish I would have been there from the beginning, but I, I like you said, I feel things differently, and it affects me. Like I saw a dead cat the other day, a dead cat right here next to where I live, and it just messed up my whole day. I just felt it in my stomach. I was a mess. I was just like so depressed. And when things like this happen, like things that are intense, they affect me, and my whole spirit just, I feel like it takes a while to recharge back and be myself again. It affects my whole mood, and I just have to do so much. I don't know how to deal with that sometimes. It's difficult.
Wow. No, no, you'd say, yeah, that's a great. Thank you for sharing that. What would you say to that, Jane? For people that are, so it sounds like she's really sensitive. So I can completely
Yeah.
relate to that. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to see happen. I don't know anybody that would be able to manage that, but I would just ask you, Roxana, how did you bring yourself back to balance after that? What did you do to recover yourself after such an impactful emotional event happened like that?
Well, it's been a roller coaster for the past few days. It's been a lot of things through what things that have been happening as far as like my brother battling with a drug addiction, and just a lot of things have been going on, and I kind of have to like, well, for me, I feel like I have to do a lot of meditation, affirmation, um, just kind of in prayer for me, that connects me back to myself, and just that's what I have to do. But sometimes it gets very overwhelming, and I forget, and I don't do it. And I think those are the things that are, I kind of have to stay, just kind of stay grounded, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. And so this is what happens with people who are empathic or highly sensitive, right? Something like that can keep us in that place of despair or sadness or sorrow or confusion for days at a time. And we have to reflect, we have to do some meditation, we have to try and balance ourselves to come away from it. We're not come away from it, but soften and get some space from it, where other people, who are not empathic or highly sensitive would not have had the same experience, right? But your big heart, um, uh, you just had such an emotional impact from it, and that's truly how empathic people feel. They just feel so strongly. So
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened, and just bless your brother. Hopefully he can find the help that he needs, or the frame of mind, right, to move
Okay, yeah.
out of his situation.
Thank you. I think that it's just a lot of things that drain us. And um, is there anything else that I should know, I should do that could help? Is there any suggestion?
Really, uh, you just have to get through it. You're doing exactly what you need to do, or here's what I should say. Follow your heart. If your heart tells you to do some meditation, stay in prayer for a while, relax, feel the sorrow. It's a process you need to get through, and over time, it will soften. But there really isn't any magic process. Each person is going to have to move through something like that in their own way. And I think you're doing everything that you can do, and that you're being guided to do, to help move through it.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Yeah,
you
no,
for calling. Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, because I'm curious too about thank you, Roxana. Appreciate um
Thank
I'm
you.
absolutely I'm very curious too as far as like because that right when you feel it is like is there crystals, is there amulet, something you could use to help because I think being empathic you don't really want to be empathic all the time, right? Like you don't want to feel all that.
No,
So
it feels like a curse.
yeah, exactly. So that how but yeah, that was funny. Like you're very aware, Roxana, obviously. So like that, like meditation. Like for me, obviously, it's going to nature, right? Like that's
Yeah.
my thing. But of course, who doesn't want a shortcut? Like, why is there? Can I wear some amulet or can I just use some sage?
Right?
Something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. So there really isn't, in your experience, Jane, then there really isn't kind of a shortcut to it then.
There's no shortcut. And I had a situation last November with my dog. She died suddenly, and there was
Oh,
nobody that could console me, nobody that could, everybody was trying to love me through it, but there was no way to, I had to go through my process, right? And other people have gone through their process losing a pet in their own way, right? But you can't tell somebody how to do that. They have to kind of go through it on their own. So, and that experience taught me that there are people that grieve differently and feel differently. And I was getting so much loving advice from so many people, but it didn't help me. I had to go through it myself, and I had
Mhm.
to find a way to just follow my guidance and step day by day, week by week, month by month, go through the process of grieving. So kind of not the same, but nobody's going to be able to tell you like hold this stone or do this, or maybe there is a stone or an amulet or something that you could do some research about, but really have to go through it with your own guidance. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you want to go back to more points from the PowerPoint or did
Yes.
you?
Yeah, let's continue on, and we'll take calls as they come in so we can get through it for people who are listening, right? So they can we can get through
Okay.
2 or 3
Thank
calls.
you, Roxana. I'm gonna put you out of this thing now. Okay.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Okay.
Roxana.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
No,
Bye.
thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, so let me screen share again. Oh, and just real quick, because I don't know, I kind of felt bad about not answering the question that Rance had about beginning,
New beginnings.
yeah, new
New
beginnings.
beginnings.
So what do you think? Like, I guess just an overall, yeah, I get it. It's a very vague question, right? Like it's
It
kind of nice
is.
to know.
If I had to just broadly think about new beginnings, like how would I handle a new beginning, or how would I express to someone to handle a new beginning? I actually do this in my life path sessions,
Oh, okay.
ironically. Um, and so I ask people, that's why I needed some more information in order for me to be able to answer it in the way that I would answer it. but I ask people where they are. So, is it a job that you're in, you want to go to a new job, or a relationship, you want to go to a new relationship, or move from one part of the country to another, or children left home and now you're empty nesting, or new career, whatever. So I ask them, where are you? Where are you now in this particular situation? And he could do this himself if he's listening. Anybody can do it. And just list where you are in your job, in your relationship, in your thoughts about a new career. And then think about where you want to go, which is another category. So way on the left, where are you in your career? And then way on the right is, your goal. I want to be a VP of something, or I want to live
Mm.
here, or this is where my salary is, and these are the job responsibilities, and I want to work with a cohesive group of people who are supportive and I can advance, right? So where you are, where you're going, and then how do you get there? That's the bridge. Okay, if I'm here in this particular job and I want to get to this VP job, what do I have to do? Well, you need to now find companies that are offering jobs that are a step higher than yours, and start sending out resumes, cover letters, interviews, and start working your way towards that and feeling joy or happiness. Like, that job makes me feel happy, or that company looks like a good company to work for. And it's a step process to get to where you want to be. So with new beginnings, if I was just going to broadly say to people what you should do, or what you could do, is write out where you are, where you'd like to be, and then fill in the blanks. How you're going to get there. How are you going to get to that salary? How are you going to get to that new job? How are you going to get to that new relationship?
Mm.
Whatever it is, and then work on it. My friend Libba, who you interviewed a while ago,
Oh, absolutely.
she does angel committee meetings, and she taught me how to do angel committee meetings. And I'll tell
Oh,
you, I got 100% of everything I put on a list. So you have your angel committee meetings, and then you ask your angels, okay, find me some job opportunities that will make me happy. And then once a week, you have your meeting with your angels, and
wow.
you ask for updates. Like, where are you? Where are we on the uh new job? But where should I look for a new job? What company should I go to? Where? And then every week you have your meeting with your angels, and then you move forward, you move forward, you move forward. So it's just where you are, where you're going, and then weekly meetings with yourself, with your piece of paper, with your angels, some kind of commitment that moves you towards where you want to be. I guess that's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, no, and I love what you said about, so when you made that list, obviously that's part of it, but you had to take action, right? That's always part of the thing, right?
That's right. You have to take action. So some people, like I said, I have life path sessions. Okay. This is what they're designed for, to get people transit, influence the energy for their highest and best good, to get them where they want to go. And that's how I do it. So people can do it on their own at any
Mm.
time, or I can help them with that. It's, it's, that's basically how it works.
Oh, okay. So you do
Mhm.
that as well. I didn't know that you did
It's
those
on my
sessions.
website.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, very few people, I shouldn't say very few people. I would say I get one or two uh every few months, but they are awesome sessions, and I've seen some pretty amazing things happen for people who are looking to make some changes in their life. So, new beginnings, right? Just like Ren's said.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure if this is someone else or if that's Renz and he had but in the chat it's Joe had the question, it sounds like, about how do you how does on to hold back what is like how to hold back what wants to explode, I'm guessing is the question. So I mean, to me, that I guess it sounds like, maybe if you're like about to blow up angrily or something like that. Like, I'm not sure if that's the question he's
Hmm.
asking. So is there anything you would suggest? Count to 10, something like that, like a little better maybe than just
Okay,
counting to 10.
here's a tip. Here's a tip. So when you're feeling whatever you're feeling, angry, sad, guilty, rage, upset, whatever it is, you have to first realize that you're feeling it. Okay. I'm really upset or I'm about to explode. And you have to recognize you're there. And then you think in your mind, all right, I'm uncomfortable, I'm about to explode, and I don't want to stay here. And then this is what I've done in the past. You just go to your computer screen in your mind and the little pull down menu. And so you're about to explode and you go to the little pull down menu and you probably can't get to peace, but you can get to something that's less than I'm going to explode, you know,
Mm.
like I feel more relaxed. I feel less stressed, or I feel, you know, go to the pull down menu in your mind and think of where you can shift to relieve that pressure and then try and settle in there. A friend of mine told me that technique years ago. I do it a little bit differently for myself, but it would be kind of complicated to explain. But you just have to recognize you're doing it, recognize you're upset about something, and then think, what's the next feeling I could have that feels better than this? You probably aren't going to get from ready to explode to bliss, but you may get ready to explode to a little more relaxed. Okay, so that would be my advice.
No, and I love that because I'm a visual person. So it's funny. I know before I used to use it in the opposite. I used to like let's say I wanted to work out and I felt lazy. I would
Mm,
picture things like I don't know, it's just like not like let's say turning into the Hulk, but something like that, like just seeing like and then run up a mountain or something, you know? So I never thought of it like obviously it works in the reverse. So that's amazing. So thank you for sharing that. I love it.
yeah,
So
it does
that's so
work
fun.
in the reverse. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. But I don't know why I've never actually thought that you could just, you know, how you said go into the computer screen in your head, go from like about to rage to just like, okay, I'm calm. And
I'm
that
calm.
I
I'm
visualized
calm.
that when you said it. So I love
And
that.
then
Thank you.
boom, your mind goes, oh, calm. And then you get out of that place where you're about, because that's uncomfortable. So you can at
Mm,
least get to someplace a little bit better than that. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so
Yes.
let me go ahead and share this again. Okay, so where did we leave off? We were on, I
We're on
think
the first one, I think.
well, I know we did the first one, then,
Yeah.
did we do it, or we still had more to say about the first one,
I
or?
think we could leave that one and
Okay.
maybe go through a couple of them now. So let's see here. The next one is, do you feel a strong sense to help people? Now, people who are empaths feel a very strong sense to help people.
Mhm.
Um, for I've been empathic my whole life, but it doesn't mean that like your mechanic can't be an empath, right? Like the people that help me fix my cars really want to do a good job, really want to help, really want to solve the problem for you. And is that them being just efficient at their job, or do they really truly like to help people?
Mm,
They really truly like to help people. Okay. So we don't want to rule out people who are builders or car mechanics, or you know what I mean? Uh,
absolutely.
Empathic people all around us. So the answer would be, how do you help people, or how would you like to help people? So your audience may be thinking about, you know, do you feel a strong sense to help people? And if you do, how are you helping people? Or how would you like to help people? Um, I have a friend of mine who really wants to help people, but she's not sure if she wants to do energy healing, if she wants to do counseling, if she wants to do this, if she wants to do that. And she feels like she's kind of stuck because she hasn't
Mhm.
made a decision. And I said, you could pray for people, you could talk to your friends and ask how they're doing, and they will tell you. And in your own, you know, meditation time, you could just think about them and ask that they have balance in whatever area, or healing or movement in whatever area they're struggling with. It's as easy as that. Uh,
Mhm.
so it can be big in terms of helping people, or it can be small. I don't want to say small, but it can be as easy as just thinking about people in your meditation. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like
All right.
that.
So the next one here, here's what you talked about just a little while ago. Do you pick up on other people's energy or emotions, right? Remember you said when you go into large crowds of people, you do pick up on other people's energy and emotions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
When I
that's
when I first started doing this work, I just said a prayer and I said, listen, God, I'm like a real person in this real world. I need to go run my errands. I need to go do things out in public. And unless somebody, I pretty much said I want to move through my day and move through people pretty much unaware if they're having any problems or any issues unless they ask me for help. And so
Mhm.
that's helped me a lot when I'm in a group of people. I just ask that if somebody's suffering, that God helps them. And if they bring that condition or that situation to my attention, I'll be happy to help. But it's almost like I have a cloak and I'm not able to see anything or feel a lot of what's going on with other people, other than it kind of exhausts me to just be in groups of people because there's so much going on, but I can't tell what's going on with them. And I don't feel what's going on with them. I just think it's just such a big energy being around so many people that it wears me out.
Absolutely. So you prayed about that and they gave you that then. So you don't usually feel unless it's
Not
something that
anymore.
really needs to come through.
Not anymore. Nope.
Wow.
No. And that was a big weight off of me. That was a
Mm.
big weight off of me. And so thank goodness, because we all need to be out in the world and we all need to keep our balance and our energy, our own energy to ourselves, right? So so yeah, yeah. So let's see, what's the next one? Um
Do you feel drained and need to recharge after being around large groups of people by being alone and quiet? So we kind of talked about that one already as well.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of talked about that. Let's see here. Do you prefer one-on-one connections with people? Are you are one-on-one connections with people less draining for you? So we talked about that just a few minutes ago. So for me, I prefer one-on-one connections with people or a, a few people. But if I'm in a large group, then that's when it kind of tilts a little and I get a little overwhelmed. Not because I'm picking up on people's energy or people's conditions or anything or emotions, but it's just the fact that there's so much energy because of so many more people that in and of itself overwhelms me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see, are you overly uncomfortable if you have to address a difficult person or situation? I didn't know that was part of being an empath.
Um,
Are
I
you
put
overly uncomfortable if you have to address a difficult person or situation?
Yeah, some people can deal with it head on, a difficult situation or a difficult person, and other people, I have friends that say they will avoid conflict at all cost,
Hmm?
right? And then there are other people like myself. If I have a difficult situation, difficult person, are there any difficult people? Maybe, but a difficult situation or a difficult person, I don't shy away from that. I kind of handle it head on. But the reason I put it here is because some of my friends will do anything to avoid um, conflict or a difficult situation. They just hope it smooths itself out over time. And for me, I like to not handle it right away, but have a conversation about it and come to an agreement so that it isn't something that's lingering for me or the other person. Um, so that's pretty much how I handle it. What about you when you have a situation that's difficult?
Well, I just had a whole like I was like, okay, I don't know if I should say it, but fine. So it instantly took me to, I've had certain friends where, and I'll still call them friends, but it was like sometimes friends that would just always have bad things, I guess, that they're dealing with. And every time I would talk to them, after for the whole rest of the day, I couldn't shake off. Like, it was almost like if they came and dumped, and because I actually do care,
Yeah.
it would just mess me up. And so it came to a point where I just didn't want to talk to them anymore because I couldn't. Like, I did deal with it, but after it became like, but I don't even think they care, because I think I've told them before, like, like, hey, like, I just can't, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I know they maybe just want someone to listen to, and maybe that's what therapists are there for, because they're
Yeah.
getting paid to do that. And obviously they like doing that. Or I don't know, they like doing it, but they do it. But for me, it was just like, nah, like, you're just dumping on me. And I get it. It seems harmless, but for some reason it affects me. And I guess that's part of being an empath. See, I didn't know that that's more what it is. It is. For some reason, it would drain my soul, like, for the rest of the day. And then I kind of, not that I resented them, but it was like, I don't know what to do. So I would just try, like, not to answer calls anymore because I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean?
I'll
I
give
felt
you a
bad
tip on
about it.
that. I'll give you a
But
tip on that because
hey,
I've had situations in the recent past, probably the last 6 months, where, people in my life that were my heroes helped me with so many things, considered them family and friends. And then all of a sudden you have a little interaction where there's a disagreement. And oh, my heart, I'm like, I don't want to be mad at you. And you don't want to
mm,
be mad at me. But we just had this relationship changing conversation almost, right? Because of a disagreement.
mm,
And so you end up, kind of smoothing things out, but then it stays with you for the
mm,
rest of the day, right? Or the next day, or the next day, and you're mad and you're mad and you're mad, or you're upset, or you can't get out of it. Here's how I figured out how to release it because it's affecting me, probably not affecting this person anymore.
mm,
He said what he had to say. We came to an agreement. Let's, start over with this project and move forward. Okay. And so now I'm stuck feeling bad because I'm an empath and I don't want to. Okay. So it came up with this technique out of desperation one time, ruminating about that situation. And I just said, I'm going to forget I had that conversation. In an
mm.
instant, snap, it went right out of my brain and I was back to my happy day.
Wow.
I
And it
forgot.
worked for you?
I forgot. Yeah, it works all the time. It works all the time. So sometimes I have to do it a few times. Like I was sipping my coffee, driving down the road. I'm like, I was happy before I started thinking about this again.
Mm,
And then I thought, how do I get myself out of this? And I said, well, I'm just going to forget. I forgot I had that conversation and snap, the energy went to another part of my brain. All of a sudden, it's released. I'm happy sipping my coffee off to have my fabulous day. So that might be a tip for people when you get in that situation and you're feeling very strongly about an interaction that happened. You can say, I forgot, or I forgot, or I forgot I had that conversation. And it does something to the brain to snap you out of it. Like, oh, all right, and then you're back to feeling happy. So just a tip, just a
mm.
tip for people.
Why? I think, I'm like you, that I'll ruminate over things, right? But just because you said it worked for you, I'm going to have more faith in it now. So I'm going to, because it's funny that we're talking about that, because that happened to me over the last few years. I've had a few of those disagreements with a few people,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it just like, it stuck with me for a bit. And then after, well, I guess in a way I did. Well, I didn't forget about the thing, but I did forget about, like, the person. After, it was just like, wow,
Yeah,
that's it, like, kind of thing. But I like your approach. Seems a little nicer than just saying, well, forget that person in general. Let me just
yeah,
forget about this thing.
yeah. Forget about that situation because this person is still my hero. I mean, this person helped me a lot around here, and we had a disagreement. He's probably moved on. I should have been able to move on, but I was having a hard time, and I just said, I forgot. And the
Yeah.
book, like, oh, thank goodness, I'm relieved. And then maybe it comes back again later and you just say it again until you're not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm glad we talked about that one. That
Yeah.
that's a big
That's
one.
helpful.
That's a big one. Okay, so the next one, when invited to a social gathering, do you generally plan to leave early? Oh, absolutely. So what about you? Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I do. I'm just going to turn for one moment and see if I
Oh,
can move my dog out of here. She's shaking
absolutely.
her head for some reason. Georgia, out, good girl, go. All right. I don't know if your audience can hear that or not, but all of a sudden she's got an itchy ear, so I'll look at that later.
Is that the dog that was the puppy? Is it all grown now?
No, this is the big
Oh,
one. This is the
okay.
7-year-old one. The
Oh,
baby
okay.
is in the crate right now, and my face is itchy because I've been playing with my puppy, and I think I'm a
Oh,
little allergic to her. But
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm allergic to I have a husky that I'm allergic to, but the
yeah,
Labrador I'm good with. The Labrador doesn't make me itch or nothing, but the husky always
well,
sneezing everything. So yeah.
yeah. So that's why I'm itching my face because I was all up in her face just a little while ago before I put her in the crate, telling her she was a good dog, and now my face is itchy. Um, yeah. So that's the old one.
Oh, okay.
All right. So when invited to a social gathering, do you generally plan to leave early? So yes, I do. Yes, I
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that one. I'm actually supposed to go somewhere and I already told the person that invited me, hey, is it fine if I just go for a little bit? Yeah, yeah, no problem. Da, da, da. Da. You could just come say hi and leave. It's fine. Cause I already, you know,
Yeah,
I'm already aware of myself to know that, you know.
me
So
too. And
yeah.
if it's a short time commitment, I'm more likely to say yes. Okay, so we're talking about introverts here. So my friends all know that I don't typically say yes to this community event or that community event or whatever, but I did say yes to a line dancing
Oh,
yeah. So have I ever said yes to anything like that before? I don't know, not maybe 15 years, but it's 1 hour. Okay. So I'm thinking that's not a big commitment. It's 10 minutes from my house. Great. It's in a small town church, second floor. I'm like, even better. But you see how an introvert has to like consider a number of things before saying, like, all right, I'll go. Right. So, um, that's how it works for me. It may work like that for other people too, but it was 1 hour line dancing, 10 minutes from my house, $7. I don't care about the price. I'm like, oh, I could probably do that one.
yeah, absolutely. No, no, that's funny. That's all. Okay, that's part of the empath what do you call it? What is it? I forgot the word for
It's
it.
just personality, the
Symptoms or
empathic
yeah, personality
personality,
symptoms. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yep.
like that one. Well, I guess I was gonna say like what's a good thing to do about it, but I guess we just said it, right? Like being able, like for me, I felt good that I was able to tell this person ahead of time, like, hey, like, it's nothing like thanks for the invitation, but yeah, is it fine? Like oh yeah, yeah, no problem. Uh well, my thing I said, oh yeah, I actually said that. I said, I don't drink or nothing, so I don't really want to be because that always especially since I stopped drinking. If I'm around people that drink, it's another kind of energy. I start feeling more uneasy. Maybe that's why even before, right? I used to have to drink a lot just to
Right.
stop that. It's like their energy becomes something else. Being around social is no problem. I mean, now I'm okay with it. Not that is no problem, right? Like there's still something there, but it's nothing compared to the being around people drinking and this and that. I don't
Right.
want to say like, oh, because they're little demons or something like that, but it's like there's some kind of strange energy there, right?
That's
So
right. Their energy does change.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right. And
yeah.
so you feel it more because you're not drinking either.
Yeah, exactly.
Not drinking right now. Yeah.
Exactly. I feel everything. So that's why in that situation, I'm like, hey, is it cool if because I know people are going to be drinking, so I don't really want to be around. Oh, yeah, yeah, no problem. So that was good. I'm glad I at least did that ahead of time. So,
Yeah. And I think people are more not considerate, but more aware now because I used to do group meditations and I did some, and then my other friend who's a healer did some. So I went to his. he came to mind, and this one practitioner used to leave early. And he said to me, why is she leaving early? Does she always do that? And I said, yeah, she
Mm,
always does that. She gets overwhelmed, I think, or she gets what she needs. And then she's out like 15 minutes before we end. And I said, so that's just, that's the way she rolls.
absolutely.
Everybody was really understanding.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's good. See, that's good when you deal with, I guess, mature people that understand, like,
Yeah.
so that's a beautiful thing, right? But
Yeah.
when you're young, you don't get that. Like when I was out there partying with friends, and if I felt weird, it's more like they kind of peer pressure you into, oh, just stay. And imagine that's probably why when I was young, I drank so much because, like it's a peer, oh, come on, whatever, stay, stay, stay. And then you stay, and then you have to drink just to be around. So I see, I felt it since I was, like early, whatever, teenager, really, even because I started drinking since I was, even a teenager. So I knew that then, but I didn't know what it was called, right? So just to say that, yeah.
That's right. None of us did. Now we know, and we can help the younger people feel more at ease,
Oh,
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's see, what's the next one? Do you prefer traveling to social gatherings alone so you can leave early? Oh yeah, that's me. Oh, always, 1,000,000% since I was,
I'll
yeah,
meet you
always.
there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'll go crazy if like someone wants me to go with them. Like I won't. I'll make up any excuse to like not go with somebody.
Me too. Even
Wow.
when we were going to family reunions when we were kids, well, kids old enough to drive. I think I was married at the time. I had a daughter, and it was so interesting that my dad would go with the van, and he expected all of us kids to pile in.
Mm,
And some of my brothers did go with my parents, but I drove by myself and my daughter drove by herself. And I remember my aunt thinking, why didn't y'all just come with your dad? And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'd rather go by myself, listen to my music, sip my coffee. And my daughter, same thing. She's like, I'm like, you could have jumped in with me. She goes, no, I'm good going by myself. And so I know, right? I'm like, I'll meet you there. So it's kind of interesting.
yeah. No, because it's funny, before I knew any empath kind of stuff, because my brother, the one that passed away, he was a Gemini too, but he always, no matter where he went, he always took someone, right? He'll be like,
Oh,
"Hey, go with me." Yeah, yeah. He was always like, "Hey, go with me." Da-da-da. I don't know if it was more from the military, the whole buddy system thing that they embed in you from the military, or if it was, but I think it was part of his personality. So I don't think he really had that empath thing like that, right? Even being like, our birthdays were only days apart. And
mm.
so, it was funny that he was the complete opposite when it came to that. Always like, hey, go with me, even just going to the store, going here, going there. Like he always did that. So that's funny that.
He always had someone go with him. So yeah,
Yeah.
he was working his thing. He was working things out about being by himself, right? He always had to have someone with him.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it that way. But I mean, unless it was more
maybe
just the military thing, the
it could
buddy
have probably,
system,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it probably
that
was a military thing.
because he
Yeah,
went straight out of high school. So I mean, all the memories of I have of him are of always like having that frame of mind, like, hey, go with me, go with me, go with me. So maybe it was
yeah,
from that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So that's interesting. Okay, let's do you prefer to what other things make you an empath? Well, I don't know. I think we
We covered
talked
them,
about.
didn't we?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if there's anything else. We like really did cover it all.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see. The next one.
I
How
think,
Oh, good, good.
I think so. Yeah, I think we covered them all.
Okay, I'll read through these. Next one, let's see. How does this show up in your everyday life? I think we kind of talked about it. How do you help people, or how would you like to help people? Okay. So they're all connected. I thought
Yeah,
they were two
so
rows.
each
Okay.
one, how does this show up in your life? How do you handle this situation? How do you keep your energy balanced in this type of situation when people are draining you? Yeah. So it was the question and kind of a talking point about
Oh,
how
okay.
to handle each situation. But we did all of them.
Okay. Okay. Then let me stop the share right here for the. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Perfect then. That's awesome. So, yeah, because at first I saw it, I was like, okay. let's see if we're gonna be able to get through the whole list, but I wanted to, so I'm really happy that we did. So
Yeah, we did. And we didn't actually have to follow bullet point by bullet point on the how do you handle it, because as we went through the list of what makes you an empath, we kind of covered, how it impacts your life or how you handle the situation. So it was really good.
no, and like that was the main thing that jumped out at me is that I wish I would have known about this stuff. So I know that now, kids even have access to see videos like this and
Mhm.
listen to information, and hopefully they're guided in that way, right? Someone will tell them, hey, maybe you're an empath. Check out this video, do this, or listen to this. So, like I said, see, my remedy was drinking, right? Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm shaky being around people. I don't feel right. Let me just drink, and yeah, it would go away after a few beers. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that was my way of dealing with it back then.
Yeah, and I think growing up, anxiety is kind of a genetic thing in my family. And so
Mm.
um my mother never coddled us. My mother never did anything to take us to a doctor to get anxiety medication or anything. She just said, deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I can remember just like working in offices and my hands shaking so much I could barely lift my coffee cup to my mouth. I had such anxiety. Oh, I think I was smoking back then. That's how I
Mm.
handled it. I was smoking. That helped soothe me. Um, and there was no discussion about, getting any help for it, which I'm totally grateful for. Totally grateful for. She just said, get over it. And it took me a long time to get, with intestinal fortitude and strength to just never overcome my anxiety, but like move through it because there was no other option. There was nothing that was going to be done to help any of us. So we just got
Wow.
through it. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
no, no. I mean, my parents were similar, right? There was
yeah.
really, my mom was very like hardcore, right? So, you know, so, uh, but right now that you were saying that, I remember like this funny memory, like one of my first jobs I had, like I drove, it was like real early, like 5 in the morning, we would start like at this warehouse. And I remember just driving there and I just didn't feel it. I don't know what it was. It was a feeling. And so I drove all the way to work. It was probably, I don't know, 20, 30 minute drive. And then I get to work. I pull in the parking lot and I pull in and then go in reverse and drive back home. Like I just drove there to go in the parking lot, go in reverse and come back home. I was like, what the hell did I just do? But I just didn't feel, and I think that probably has a lot to do with that, right? Like not being able to explain it. Like I didn't know what it was, right? It wasn't anxiety. It was just like I just don't like it was an overwhelming feeling of not being like something. So I don't know if a lot of empaths deal with stuff like that.
I'm sure they do. And
Yeah.
do they talk about it? Who do they talk to about it? Right?
Yeah.
Who do
Yeah.
they have their friends? Maybe they don't talk about it. Maybe they self-soothe or self-balance with alcohol or drugs or smoking or uh, food. And that kind of keeps them comforted through their anxiety or through feelings, strong feelings.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't know how much time you had, so I don't want to keep you
Yeah,
longer than
yeah, I think
but
I'm
I mean if
pretty
there's
good.
anything else that you want to cover about that. I mean it looked like we got our calls early on, so that was good. That people had a few questions. So thank you to everybody that called as well. Thank you so much. And for Renz that joined us in the video, I know we weren't able to hear him speak or anything, but thank you for the question. Was there anything else that you wanted to add as well, or?
I think we're finished. I think we covered the whole list and how people handle these situations, and hopefully, your listeners will enjoy and have some help, have just some guidance um, by listening to your input and my input on this topic that maybe people talk about, maybe they don't.
Absolutely. No, and it's always nice to learn more about you. Like I didn't know you did what is it called again? The other like the light.
Oh, life path sessions.
Yeah, that. I like that.
So most of my work is chronic pain, chronic illness, energy healing sessions. Early on, when I first started doing this work, people would also tell me about during their healing session how they were having some transition in their life, and I would roll it into the healing session. But I had to separate it after a while because they're really two separate things, your healing session and your life path session, which is basically just for people who are in transition. I help them, I ask questions about where they are, where they want to go, where they want to be, and what feeling does that give to you with this promotion? Or what feeling does that give to you to live next to a lake? Or what feeling, they may say joy, they may say happiness. And then we influence the energy for joy, happiness, whatever it is that it makes them feel, influence the energy to get to their goal.
Mhm.
And some amazing things have happened. Amazing things have happened. Just keeping them in that. I had one woman who was in a relationship, an abusive relationship, and I said, well, what are you trying to find in terms of, you're out of this relationship, you want to move to a new place and you want to start a new life. Are you looking for joy? Are you looking for happiness? She goes, after this relationship, I'm looking for peace.
Mhm.
And I said, then we're going to follow peace and get you here, and things will fall into place. And they did.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there I go trying to decide what she wants to have for an energy and a feeling. And it was not what I said. She said, I want peace.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
yeah. So those are interesting sessions. They're more expensive. They're an hour. And I recommend people have one a month for 3 months, because you're here, we're influencing the energy for you to go here. You have steps to do between now and then. And then you meet with me again. You tell me where you are. How close did you get? What are these opportunities you're looking at? And then let's narrow it down now and see what brings you happiness, or what area makes you feel this happiness or joy. And then we start narrowing it down. So some people just have one session. Some people have more than one,
Wow.
but it's just another service.
No, no, it sounds great. I like it. So it's all on your website and everyone could find it
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, janefecteau.com.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, I guess on that note, thank you so much, Jane. It's an honor as always. Thank you to anybody that tuned in, everybody that called and joined us, anyone in the chat as well. Thank you so much. And yeah, any other closing thing you want to say or
That's pretty much it. I kind of opened with what I do. I help you with chronic pain and chronic illness. If you want to learn more about my work, go to my website and fill out a healing request form, contact Jane form, set up a time to chat, see if I can help you.
okay, perfect.
All
Okay,
right.
so
Thank
on
you,
that.
Omar. It's been
No,
great.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm honored as always. Thank you so much. Okay. Goodbye to
Bye-bye.
everybody out there.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
See.